Hi everyone. So today we have Avantika with us who are going to discuss about her success story from NMAT to NMIM. So for preparing for NMAT to facing an AI interview, then cracking the final panel round, today's guest has gone through one of the most unique MBA selection journeys. So if you are targeting NMIM, you already know that the journey is not just about NMAT, it goes beyond that with the interview and final panel round. So, Avantika, who has successfully navigated this entire process and converted NMI Mumbai, congratulations to you and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Abhilasha.
So, in this session, what we are going to cover is we are going to cover her NMAT preparation strategy, her experience with the interview, and final panel interview journey. So, and some key tips for NMAT aspirants. So, Avantika, welcome to the sessions. We are really excited to have you here. So, to begin with, could you introduce yourself?
Hello everyone. I am Avantika. I uh, I have done my engineering, and thereafter I've worked for the 3 years. And after my work, I started my cloud kitchen. Uh, and after my cloud kitchen, like running it for a year, I realized that I need to do an MBA. So that is where I started my preparation last year in April. And after running my cloud kitchen for a year, I stopped my cloud kitchen and like totally focused on the MBA preparation and gave all the exams that were there, like that were there for MBA. And hence, like right now, I got NMIMS score call.
That's very nice. So, what motivated you to pursue an MBA and why NMAT?
So basically, I felt that if I'm giving a CAT and all these exams are already lined up, why not NMAT? Because the thing is, we have like so many opportunities, so many options, and NMAT also provides a few. Like there are a few colleges which are good from NMAT. So that is where I realized that I should fill the form, and I filled the form for NMAT, and I felt pretty much that the exam was very not very difficult. That it is a less pressured exam than the other exams.
Okay, so NMAT is quite unique compared to other MBA exams, as we can see, and because of its speed-based format and multiple attempt options. Then, when you started preparing, what was your strategy?
So basically, when I started preparing, I had not been studying for a long time since I was working. So that is where I realized that I need to work on all the three things that are there, like the DI, the quants, and like the VA as well. But since like, I have been in the English medium format, so I like VA was pretty much easier for me as like it came easily to me as compared to the other two subjects. So that is where I realized that I need to focus more on quants and DILR. Well, I need to sharpen up my quants and reasoning and work on it better. So like I was mostly preparing for quants and LR, and alongside I was doing VA like a little bit. So that is where most of my work went into for preparation of MBA.
That's really nice. But I have a question. Like, when you started your journey for NMAT, so how many months you took to, to the till the final examination?
So basically, I did not exactly start for NMAT preparation, but I started it for CAT. But then, since I had filled all the other forms as well, I started the preparation for NMAT somewhere around November, since like all the things that are needed in CAT are similar to NMAT. What I did is I divided my time into giving mocks for CAT, NMAT, and the other exams that I had in hand. So that is how I divided my time, and I was mostly focusing on working on these mocks that were there for like the last 30 days, and I was mostly working on mocks only, and I approximately gave around 15 to 20 mocks for just for CAT, and then again I gave around 5 to 6 for NMAT, and for the other exams also I've given like 10 or 12. So that is where like I think my most of my focus was.
So mocks play a huge role in NMAT as well in any of the B school exam. But how important were mock tests in your preparation? Why do you feel like did you feel a change like since you started preparing, you form it and strategy that I'll take this many mocks for this particular exam?
So I feel for mocks, what is it like? We need to have a strategy. So I feel starting first few like 3 or 4 mocks, what we do is we apply different strategies and see which strategy works for us best. So I had realized which strategy was working best for me for like giving mocks while I was preparing for CAT. And that is where I felt that I do not need to select a new strategy for NMAT, but I need to follow the same strategy for all the other exams that were there. And I followed the same strategy. Like I was finding out questions which were better for me, and I was trying to solve all these questions. And basically for NMAT, since we cannot go back into the questions, that is one of the difficult parts which is not there in CAT. I was trying to solve any question that was there, and like I was trying to like do any of the most of the easiest questions that were there in the exams. I was trying to pick out easier questions so that there is no issue while I am like answering these questions.
So, since you formed the strategy, so how did you analyze your mocks and improve your score? And what was like the whole journey from the first mocks that you gave and the last mock that you gave?
So, so basically, the first mock that I gave was really bad. I feel right now, like while I am speaking with you, the first mock I didn't even score. Maybe like for cat, I didn't even score 10 or something like that. It was really bad, and that is where I realized I need to work very hard for my cons and DILR. Those were the two sections where I was not scoring so good, and even in my NMAT my scores are really good for VA, but they are not as good for cons and like LR. So that is where I started working on my cons and LR. The only strategy that I worked on is preparing, like resolving all my like issues with the basics of each of the every subject that was there.
So, how many hours did
And
you give on daily basis to your preparation? Like in your daily routine, how did you fit it?
So initially, when I started the preparation, I was approximately giving maybe 4 hours or 5 hours per day, which was pretty much enough because initially one cannot put more than these many hours in a day for a preparation. And since there was a long gap before I started working, and then there was like a 3-4 years gap when I had not touched anything of studies. So for me, like sitting 4 to 5 hours was already very difficult. So that is where I started like 4 to 5 hours, and then I started increasing my hours, and then it went up to maybe 8 hours towards the end. And even like towards the end, I was focusing more on the basics, clearing my basics and clearing whatever the necessary basics were. So I feel for any exams that are there, the basics should be very clear when it comes to exams.
Very true. That is really true. So, let's talk about your actual NMAT attempt. So, how was your exam day experience?
So basically, my exam was early morning, 8 o'clock, and for my cat, it was like approximately in the afternoon. So this was like a very difficult thing to prepare for the afternoon session and then for again shift towards the morning session. So once my cat exam was done, what I tried doing was giving these exams on early in the morning at 8 o'clock, because obviously I was waking up very early to give this exam so that I can clear my head. So one thing that I feel is we should have some kind of preparation on giving the exam at the time that is there, like that is provided for us. So my exam was at 8 o'clock early in the morning, and I reached the location that was given to me, and I was like I was pretty much scoring 190, 180 during my mocks, but that was not the required number that is there for NMAT. And I did not I was pretty much sure of my strategy, so I went ahead with my strategy, and that is, I feel, is the best part about it, that my strategy helped me during the exam.
So, according to you, which was the best difficult section during your exam? Like, which you find like, okay, in my attempt or in my, they have three shift, right? In your shift, which was the most difficult area section?
I felt LR was the most difficult section, although I scored more marks than quants. But then for me, quants is the most difficult for from all these three subjects. So for me, I felt quant was pretty much easier, and logical reasoning was actually a little bit difficult than even quants as well.
Okay, so
So
what
I
would be
felt
your
that it was a little bit different from cat, maybe a little bit, because there are different sets in math compared to cat.
okay, that is true. That is really true. So, what would be your one
Uh,
key tip for NMAT aspirants on exam day? Like they should do this much preparation. Since you mentioned you woke up, you started waking up at 8 a.m. and then you started clearing your
yeah.
head so that you'll be prepared for the actual the D day. So what was your
Yeah.
one tip for those aspirants?
So one tip that I followed was I did not leave any question. I just marked randomly whatever question was there because there was no negative marking in that is what I know. So what I did was I did not leave any question. I marked it and like whether I knew the answer or not. And the other tip is that I would like to say if you are not getting the answer, if you are thinking that it is like you are wasting your time, leave the question. You just mark something random and just like go to the next question
That's nice.
and
So
invest
one of
your
the
time in the question that is actually good for you.
True, very true. So one of the most interesting part about NMIM is the selection criteria. So when you got your NMAT score, so first we would like to know what was your NMAT score, and then we'll move ahead with the follow-up questions.
So my NMAT score is 241, which was pretty much way above than the cutoff, which is I guess 209 for NMIMS, because they take all the interviews for most of like all the other colleges, like all the other Indore and Hyderabad, all these locations as well. So that is why they have a lesser cutoff. And but then my score was 241.
So when you got the score and when you get the selection that you have got NMIM call, so how was your reaction?
So actually, I since we have a competency test in NMIMS after even giving NMAT,
Yeah,
I pretty much gave like 20 questions. There were like 30 questions and even negative marking, and I only selected 20 questions, and I was actually not like I was thinking that I am not going to be in the merit list. To be honest, I was not expecting a call, but then I got it, and like I felt very ecstatic that I got the call.
so what, like, did you mention about the competency? Did we require any,
Yeah.
a separate preparation for that competency test, or is it like very, like you can go and you can just, pass the exam just like that?
I don't think you can just go and pass the exam just like that. You will have to be a little bit prepared for the exam because there are managerial questions as well. Like there were five managerial questions, and I was only able to like do only two questions from these five questions. So these managerial questions are a little bit difficult and it is a little bit different. So it is mostly around that questions that we get in the ZAT sets.
Yeah.
So there are questions which needs to be like which are not something that we study for CAT. So that is where I think a preparation is required. We need to be in the right headset that we have to be prepared for the managerial questions as well. So
Okay.
that is where I
So,
felt that we need to have a clarity around the competency test.
okay. So now coming the most interesting part of NM selection criteria, the AI interview round. So how's the AI interview works actually?
So actually, AI interview works like there will be a panelist or two panelists sitting in front of you, and you will be in front of a system, and the AI will start questioning you, and the panelist will be listening to these questions. So the AI interview will be for 12 minutes, and it starts with question from your SOP, usually from your SOP. And for me, it started with I think from my work experience, and then it went ahead from for like questions from budget, and then again since I had a cloud kitchen, it also like analyzed my cloud kitchen part as well.
So they
So
basically ask
after this.
questions on the basis of your SOP. They pick word from it and then the AI will ask question.
Yeah, so not exactly words, but they like for AI, I feel they create questions around your work experience, that how you handled situations, and if there were any like mostly it were for me it were situational questions actually. From AI interview, most of the questions that I got were situational, and then again it came to budget, and then we discussed the budget and what are the pros and cons of the budget this year were the questions that were discussed from AI.
So how did you prepare for this round considering there is no human interaction in the initial 12 minutes and you'll be skeptical like what the AI will ask me?
So basically for AI interviews, what I did, I went ahead and I gave my SOPs to different AIs like Gemini and ChatGPT, and I started preparing for the AI interviews from there itself. So what I did is I gave two or three AI interviews from two or three different sites. I feel one is Gemini, another is ChatGPT, and the third one was Claude. And this is something which was like my mentor had suggested me to do, so that I am prepared for it beforehand.
That's really nice. So when you started preparing for AI, like AI related questions, and then same then came your panel interview experience. So when panel is actually hearing, being there and hearing your answers and focusing on what the aspirant is saying. So what do you feel like the panel is actually observing?
So I feel the panelist is observing the communication that we have, the clarity that we have in our answers. So I feel that for me, AI interviews were more like it was more technical, but then when it came to the panelist interview, it was more of a discussion on how I did in the AI interview, how I felt like how much my preparation was. And then again, it went ahead and we started discussing with all the things that were there in my SOP, like my work experience, my college, and all the key responsibilities that I had in my college as well.
So how did your panel interview went? Like, can you walk us through how was your experience? How was the overall vibe there? And what is there a male or female panelist? And does it really impact?
So for me, there was only one panelist, and the panelist was very sweet. So when I sat for the AI interview, even then the panelist was like, "You are the best. You will do the best. Please be prepared for the AI interview because this is something which is going to define your life." And I felt that is something so sweet that a panelist came forward and told me that it increased my like presence, and it made me so much more confident in that time. And then again we started discussing that it was a basic interview, like not a very difficult one, and it was just 8 minutes and like even lesser than the AI interview, and that is where I feel like it should be more, by like human interaction should be more, but then I think they check our AI answers as well, so that is where I felt. And also during the panel interview, also they were recording our answers in the system, so it was recording the panel interviews as well.
Okay, so what sort
So
of
that is
questions
one
they
thing that was
actually
happening.
what sort of questions they actually ask, like the panel? Because since you have the major chunk of part, like your technical round, your HR answers, has already been covered in AI experience. So what did panel actually ask?
So for me, basically, the panel started asking with where I came from and how did I travel. Like it was just like a discussion. It started like where I'm staying, with whom I'm staying, and all those like easy questions were asked in the initial first 2 3 minutes from the panelists. And then we went ahead and we discussed what sort of subject would I like to do. Like I would like to choose in MBA, and what would I be liking in the specialization, what is my interest. And then again, I came back to my internship, which I had done because it was around marketing, and we started discussing how marketing works since my specialization was marketing at ISET. And we discussed all the sort of things that is around marketing, and then it again ended with that the panelists had been to my place and all those things. So it was more of like a sweet discussion that happened with me and the panelists.
That's really nice. And now coming to the most awaited moment, when did you finally converted NM Mumbai call? And what was your reaction first? We wanted to know that.
So basically, like, first of all, I was like a little bit, no, like, I was not sure that I'm getting a call. I was literally thinking that I am not waiting for this call. All the other calls that I have are like okay only, and was the best calls that I had. So I was thinking maybe this year I'm not going for an MBA because for my competency test I had only like done 20 questions out of 30 questions, and people were saying they had done 25 questions, 23 questions, and that is some like so much more than my questions were there. But I saw my merit rank and I was like, this is a good merit rank because NMIMS takes around 6,000 people for their interviews, and
Yeah.
my merit rank was around 800. So I feel which is a good rank. So I think my work experience is something that has helped me get a good rank. And this year, I think they have even taken people who have better work experience like, due to the requirement that is there in the market.
That's really nice. So, now coming to the advice part. So, for the aspirants who are going to go ahead with NM Mumbai or who are going planning for NMAT, so what would be your one key piece advice for them?
So for NMAT, I've already given advice. So I would rather give advice for NMIMS interview and the competency test is be prepared for the competency test and also maybe practice for the AI interview because that is something which is going to be a key in like your assessment and the panelist might be grilling you on those questions and the answers that you give. Since my interview was okay, but then I have heard that other people were there whose interviews were like very like grilling and they were grilled upon questions on questions from the AI interview itself. So I think AI interview is something which is very important and that is where someone needs to work hard upon.
Okay, that's really nice. So, a very insightful advice, though. So, coming to the rapid fire round before we wrap up. So, one word for your NMAT journey.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
So, one word for your NMAT journey till converting NMIM.
I think it's my hard work that paid off and I think it's hard work only that pays off at the end of the day.
So, any favorite section? Which was your favorite section in NMAT?
It was VA any day.
Or what are your views about AI interview? Was it scary or was it manageable or was it fun?
So it was a little bit scary because it was like a first time experience sitting in front of an AI. But then it was not very difficult to crack. It like even if you're getting stuck somewhere, you should answer the question and move on to the next question.
So, any one mistake you would avoid, like if given a chance, you one thing that you would like to change, and you'll go when you if you'll go
I
too
would
fast.
prepare for the competency test better than I did this time.
That's really nice. Thank you, Avantika. Thank you so much for sharing your journey and sharing the honest experience with us. Your experience will definitely help and inspire many aspirants preparing for NMAT and who are targeting NMIM Mumbai. So, to everyone who are going to watch, remember cracking NMIM is not just scoring well in NMAT, but also about presenting yourself confidently, like Avantika did in her interview stages. So, if you found this session helpful, don't forget to like, share for more such stories. We'll see you in the next session. Thank you so much, Avantika.
Thank you, Abhilasha.
Thank you.
Okay.